Well, hello there again, everyone, from the autoracking.com studios. We're going to look today at another tip and talk a little bit about something called Partsview and non-exact. So a lot of times you'll notice if you look something up, you'll see a dot number here. So instead of a dash, you've got a dot. So where it says 210, 210 dot FD, it doesn't have a dash, so that dot means that it's a non-interchange item. So it'll show you in black all of the 92 Ford Taurus 210s that we have inventoried, but that doesn't mean that they'll work. Some could be a retractor, some may just be the buckle. Certain cars you may have two-door versus four-door, could be a different style seat belt, could be power versus manual, bucket versus bench. There could be a variety of differences that would not make whatever you select work for your customer. So again, stop, drop, and roll moment. You want to make sure that you cross all your T's and dot all your I's before you invest in any labor on our side to fulfill the customer's request. And many times it's a good idea to utilize the customer's own knowledge and let some of that risk be passed on to them and let them make part of that decision before you go throwing something at them, throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what'll stick. Also, if you notice here, you'll see a bunch of these items are in red. So one of the things that is a option for you guys is to have non-exact show up, which would mean different years. So that's a function that we turn on. Many of you new sellers do not have that enabled, and that's by design. But if you feel that you're comfortable enough in your career to need access to that, that would be something that you should talk to your manager about and explore the opportunity to have that turned on for you. So that could be especially helpful, like if you're looking up a 900 for a customer and you're only seeing the black, there's a chance that different years will work. So what the red items are, it shows a few years up and a few years back of the actual year you looked up. So if a customer came in and needed to go out in the yard and let's say the body style was 89 to 94, I don't know if it is on the Taurus, but let's just say it was 89 to 94. If you had non-exacts turned on, it would show you all of those different years, and you could print out a kind of a deeper pick ticket for them. So looking for some of those small non-inventoried items, it's important that you know that this is a function that you can have access to, and if you're ready for it, we can definitely turn that on. We're going to talk now about Partsview. Partsview is super important. It tells you a lot of data, a lot of OEM data, original equipment manufacturer, prices of parts, R&R times in some circumstances, R&R meaning remove and replace. So it's a very powerful tool, and I absolutely encourage you to use it daily. It's something at our fingertips that is very underutilized, so I would like to see a much greater adoption of it. It's a very powerful tool. So we'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So if you see down at the bottom of your screen, you can see where it says Partsview. You could click on that. However, as you know, I'm a big fan of not using the mouse and using your hotkeys because of the efficiency that builds into your processes by eliminating steps. So you can just hit the F6 key and that'll load Partsview for you. So you can see I just hit F6 and it's pre-populating those options. So it's got Ford, 92 Taurus, GL there. One of the things that you'll learn if you play around with Partsview is where to find some of these things, and that's only going to be discovered if you play around with it. So I definitely encourage you to play around with that. Seat belts in this circumstance are going to be under center console and seat track. So I'll go ahead and display graphic. And that's going to pull up kind of what an OEM microfiche type graphic would look like, kind of how the dealers look at stuff. So then over here you see you've got some options where you can blow it up to different graphics. So we're going to go under seats and components. It's going to pull you a whole list, but it's also going to kind of give you a visual aid here. So for demonstration purposes, let's assume that the customer needed the buckle. You could just hover over this buckle and it's going to give you information. It says buckle, front seat belt. It's going to give you the Ford part number, and then the dollars next to it is what that part would sell for at the dealer. Okay, so that is a good guideline when you're trying to determine a good selling price for the customer. Now, a lot of these parts aren't available anymore, so supply and demand may dictate a price up or down from that. So if you right click on this part, excuse me, if you double click this part, let's see if I got this right. I'm going to double click it, sorry about that. So don't right click it, double click it. It's going to give you some more information. So it says buckle, front seat belt, hauler interchange is not available. That goes back to what I said earlier on the stop, drop, and roll moment. It's not available. So caution. And then if you look below, it says vehicles containing these new part numbers. Now notice how that's written, vehicles containing these new part numbers. So you see how there's a substantial spread in the year that part number was contained on. So you can just scroll down and see how many different Ford Tauruses and Mercury Sables that particular seatbelt buckle was used on. So thinking of alternative models too is important. So a lot of Tauruses were built just like a Sable. Difference is, a lot of the time is just in the badging. So pretty cool stuff. There's a whole bunch of information you can find in here. Super helpful for in the retail experience. Showing the customer a graphic can really help them point out exactly what they're after. And there's a ton of information for you. You can see all the seat tracks here, the buckles, the headrests, tons of information right at your fingertips, and a great way to help you sell more parts and sell the correct part the first time. So I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions. You all have my email address. Please do. I really enjoy working with everyone and sharing knowledge. So if there's any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. And please, please, please make this part of your practice to use this very powerful tool. And I think you'll find it very useful. One last note is over here in this drop down bar, you can click here and you can go to different parts of the vehicle. So for instance, rear suspension, and look at some different graphics there. So great tool, guys. So make sure you use it. It's right there for you. We pay a bunch of money to have access to it, so there's no reason why we shouldn't take full advantage of it. Hey, thanks for taking some time to watch this, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.